Meanwhile, on Ardolis, what the fuck happened to Ardolis? Holy shit.
It's like someone took a big bite out of it.
Is it Galactus happened? Sure.
Yeah.
When they say
Looks
that
like someone
Galactus
took-
devours planet, they don't mean literally.
Is it just me? Or are there more of those things now? I fear the dimensional cataclysm is getting worse. Well, the sooner we find Pierre, the sooner we can get to fixing all of this. Somehow. We will find a way. Like always.
Oh. Did we have this song in the game?
Yeah, just random. And to be fair, Into the Nexus had kind of the same joke, similar joke. Oh. Well, what do you know? Shooting his own barge, you know, probably was not a good idea for him. So yeah, first order of business, save the French robot. Goody.
Else can tell us where he is.
Damn, Clank. Clank legit just went, you know what? Maybe it's not too bad if he dies. There might be somebody else who can help us. It is
I never
logical.
liked him anyway.
Alright, new weapon, the Headhunter. It's another sniper rifle. It's better than the crossbow, I will say, but it's a sniper rifle, basically.
Where did you get the footage of me using these weapons if you're from
Especially
a completely different
proto-suite,
universe? Was this AI generated?
Yeah,
Somebody
unfortunately,
really told
I'm still
Stephen Horwitz to just ham it up in the studio for those lines, didn't
basically.
they?
I do wonder if there was a degree of improvisation and said, you know, go nuts the most you can, you know, just decide to do it.
Like I think there's a spectrum with his performances. Like, yes, Billy and Zim can be out there, but even they feel controlled. These do feel like he's ad-libbing half the time with how he kind of almost sounds like he's out of breath in each line and wondering what to say next.
I think it's a bit late to ask for diplomacy.
Can we please speak? I say to the victims I just shot dead.
It's called exporting democracy, clearly.
Oh, so we're taking lessons from Matthew Perry. Sorry, Commodore Perry.
Sure.
They were spying on something with that telescope.
Well, let's have a look. Oh.
Still alive. I think we can take a shortcut through those caves to get to him. Hurry, Ratchet.
Alright,
So-
sure, why not?
So, they are robot pirates. What's their preferred method of execution, I wonder?
Well, you're about to see, because we need to avoid to sabotage the one that they're doing to Pierre, so you'll be able to see what they intended to do to actually kill him. So,
Yeah,
compared to the Ardolis that we had in Tools of Destruction, this is definitely more scattered in terms of having small islands on a watery background. Less vehicles to boot, but you know, it's more of a case of you know, having a bit more platforming about that, and a bit less verticality too. The bell is not tangible, really.
Yeah, like, that seemed like such an obvious thing to be able to hit so you could rock the cage that guy's in.
What was that? Keep moving.
Yes.
Are they talking about the fact he couldn't ring the bell?
No. But you know, applicability and all.
Yeah, no, that seemed like such an obvious thing to be able to hit, especially with the guy inside the cage, but no.
I mean, not even. I'm not asking him automatically to produce a sound, but at the very least, make it a solid object that, you know, the Omni wrench or a bullet just, you know, hit off and that's it. Something basic. I don't need to be reminded. I shouldn't be really need to be reminded of, you know, lack of object, you know, solidity that was present in something like big rigs, you know.
Like, Again, if this were almost any other company, I'd go, oh well, but it's Insomniac. Usually when something's that prominent, it's something you interact with, or at least can.
Also, for initial launch window of the PS5, so it's not, I cannot even say it like for the first Horizon. Again, for those who have not played the PS4 version of the first Horizon, because I don't know what I'm about to say got fixed for the quote-unquote, oh my god, this one too, for the remastered or, you know, enhanced edition, whatever you want to call it, for PS5 and PC. But during one specific segment where you travel to a city that has an arena, you get a glimpse of what it looks like from the outside, a bit similar to what happened with, you know, Ratchet and Clank when they first arrived at Zurkis, you know. And you're basically seeing that the crowd, you can take a look and see that the crowd is made of crash test dummies instead of people. It's a bit hilarious. I even made a screenshot out of that. But you know, that was kind of understandable because it was still in the early years of a PS4. You know, it was the next big thing that Guerrilla was actually making, and blah blah blah. But you know, instead something like this, something that it would be really simple, just make the solid object and similar to a rock and have the Omni Wrench or the bullet just, you know, bounce off without anything. Yeah, be still disappointed, but at least you're telling me that you did basic coding instead of just leaving the space, you know, to be glitch or pass by. There you go.
Didn't quite make that one.
It's the part that counts.
Yeah, also because I was using the rocket boosters, the hover boots. Also, Jova, see if that sounds familiar, or looks at the very least.
Pirates of the Caribbean, cute.
I see 'tis not an entirely fair trade. What if I give you this bone and some head scratches?
I don't like the sound of head scratches.
The way the pirate is also wording that, you know, feels extremely Reddit tier in terms of, you know, haha, I'm saying something funny, you know. I think the franchise is capable of a bit better type of humor.
Tis all I have left. Fine, fine, you can have it all. Just get me.
Again, the joke in itself is pretty solid, that it was also, for example, in the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie about the whole keep bargaining but the dog doesn't give a shit, so, you know, classic. It's just that, I don't know, this feels like it's writing the title of, oh, you can pet, you know, the epic doggerino and stuff like that.
Usually the condemned be pitiful creatures, resigned to their fates like Brorgs caught in a black hole.
Maybe I ought not go then.
Oh, but Pierre be a lively one, and I have no doubt his parlays for mercy will make for fine entertainment.
In that case, I shall wear my finest hat to the
You're not wearing a hat at all.
Maybe they're planning. Perhaps he's planning to bring it to the event.
I know that I'm kind of sounding like Yacho in Part 5 of JoJo when he's, you know, having a rant when someone tells the way of expression about, like, it was like, take a leaf out of a book or something, and he actually doesn't get it because he thinks of it literally. But I don't know, man. I think sometimes if you're making a figure of speech, you should have it something that at the very least partially relates to what you're doing or what, you know, the character that says actually looks like.
Dimensional cataclysm is getting worse. Right! Rift goons! Just what we need!
Rift goons, of course. It just keeps getting better with that kind of joke.
The Rift Goon community will not be ignored.
Yeah, it's like that fan video about, I think it was a fan video about Batman Beyond. Says, in a world where the most oppressed minority of all is gamers. Also, in case you're wondering, no, thankful because obviously this game doesn't have the holo. Guys, you don't really have to do the whole open the door by doing Simon Says while having the other guys as a pirate.
It's gonna be funny if these guys literally have to change their name again for the next game.
What do you even go for that? Like, minions, I guess? That's the only alternative left.
God forbid they do something that leads to an acronym of NPC. The Nefarious Personnel Collective.
Yeah, something like that.
Because it sure felt like it. Oh, we
Uh,
are that lucky.
Yeah, what Clank said.
Way to jinx it, Clank.
Not to mention, Ratchet, you have faced way harsher, you know, ordeals. You're really getting out of shape. Again, is this like your way of saying I'm getting too old for this shit?
Hey, now look, in my defense, I literally thought this day was going to be one for celebration, okay? I didn't expect I'd have to do all this on what was supposed to be a celebratory party for us.
That's actually a good question.
Ratchet,
How much
you
time has passed?
Ratchet, you are aware that any time we even have a mild celebration of anything, disaster always seems to follow us.
Well, excuse me for trying to be positive and expecting things could turn out well. Oh, we're good.
We are having a bit of a callback to Spyro 2. Obviously, it's not the way every single player, you know, played that, but if you play the level of Zephyr in Spyro 2, chances are, on your way to the finish line, you had one of the bird bombers actually hit you and have Spyro being brought down to the lower levels, in which, instead of actually dying, you discover that you have another set of missions, finding, for example, the cows, I think they are, basically, and saving, you know, reuniting Romeo and Juliet instead. So
To answer
a bit of a discovery.
To answer Ratchet's question earlier, why does everyone try to kill him all the time? It'd be funny if the enemies were like, this is for acting like an arsehole the first time we saw you. Oh, come on, guys, that was 19 years ago!
I'm pretty sure outside of Captain Quark, there was no one left that, you know, was witnessing those events.
We watched it on television.
You know what, considering the kind of galaxy they live in, that type of galaxies, that would be a fair possibility. But to be fair, Dweebs, consider what happened in Deadlocked, like Gladiator. I honestly think a lot of people in the galaxies, Solana, Bogon, and Polaris, don't really give a shit.
But Tio, it was an ultra super secret network that the Galactic Force couldn't track or find.
I'm talking also in general, you know.
Broadcasting to kids.
That was kind of part also of the social commentary. Such a consumer-driven type of universe that, you know, glorifies ultra-violence and, you know, spending on weapons of mass destruction. Probably wouldn't give too much of a shit if a character was an asshole.
Again, that's the thing, though. The game, at least as far as we knew, narrative-wise, was trying to suggest that... Oh, no, it was only the most deplorable people who tuned in there, and the right people just couldn't find it.
Even though it was trying to sell, you know, toys for children, merchandising it all.
I think we've made it kind of clear during our commentary that Deadlocked kind of has a bit of trouble deciding what exactly it wants to do with its narrative at times. That being said, how cool would it be if eventually we get a Ratchet and Clank game where basically...
speaking of Deadlock, one of the costumes that you can get is Captain Starshield uniform. You know, I don't blame you for not remembering him, but he's the guy that gets killed by Ace Hardlight at the beginning of the game in the cutscene. So,
I'll be honest, I would have sooner...
It's kind of funny that they still remember him in some fashion, mostly because if you forgot, as I mentioned during the fan thoughts of that, he was the quote-unquote the protagonist of the prequel webcomic that was a couple of pages long.
Wow, so that's a super deep cut. You see, guys, in honor of him, I took this uniform off of his corpse and kept it.
Alright, let's see how we want to execute Pierre.
Have you watched it yet, Ratchet?
How does his hat stay on?
Alright. Maybe it's
that bell rings.
Robot.
Yeah, and they call Bubbles the Kraken.
So it eats metal, I guess.
or just anything.
Intruders! You can't stop the swift arm of justice, you...
And it doesn't
Oh, the
discriminate.
irony.
So yeah, defeat the pirates and try to save Pierre, begrudgingly.
Hootie.
Yeah, I'm not hurt.
But yeah, no, like, imagine a Ratchet and Clank game where the whole venture is being filmed live, basically, because they're just that famous at that point.
Pierre, are you perhaps colorblind?
I don't think that's a prerogative of the French lives.
Pirates flying in.
Well, no, this is for some reason he couldn't tell Ratchet and Rivet apart.
I don't know what to tell you.
Maybe he's just racist. He is a bad guy, after all.
I'm not gonna say that he's French, but, you know...
Yeah, I know, that would have been too easy.
I'll glad to watch Casablanca again.
But yes, for the hat, I'm guessing maybe it's just built into his skull.
It's like with Irvin in Final Fantasy VIII. That thing is just glued onto his head.
Beautiful.
The one disappointment that I do kind of have about the Global Doom is that the bots that you deploy, the Agents of Doom, do not really evolve that much, while in later games, for example, like in, you know, Going Commando, they eventually learned the ability to slightly auger, which actually, you know, did help a bit, and also, you know, fired a couple of projectiles. So it was kind of nice, while in this we just mostly stay on the ground. Anyway, there you go. Yeah, whatever you say, buddy.
If you want an audience with Captain Quantum, you must complete the pirate trials.
What are those?
A tradition as old as grog, and how old pirates earn their colors. Head to Skull Mountain. If you complete the trials there, you will find the captain.
Alright, so that's our way to actually get to Captain Quantum. For now, let's get, I think the cold snap? Yeah. Pierre will be fine, he'll find a way to get down there himself.
He's a robot, so he doesn't have to worry about blood rushing to his head.
Maybe oil? I don't know.
That would be weird if somebody literally programs robots to go on the fritz if too much oil goes to their head. It's like, at that point, what are you doing? I get wanting to make some of these guys more human, but at some point it's, you know, just a little bit needless.
Anyway, I'll answer you in a second, Jova, but this alternate path serves you to get another nifty gadget that is also a staple of the franchise. You'll be able to see once you get it. For now, it's just the treasure TM. Also, Jova, no, don't worry. Me and Deji recently saw again AI, artificial intelligence, and it's rough, but it kind of does fit to what you say, the idea of humans just programming, you know, androids in a specific manner just for either amusement or just because they could. It's the whole phrase from Ian Malcolm in the first Jurassic Park. You know, you were too busy thinking of that you could do something, but you did not stop and thought that if you should.
Artificial intelligence, I'd ask what your thoughts are on that movie, but I guess you want to save it for a commentary.
No, well, we don't know when we'll ever get to that, but my point, Joe, is that I'm conflicted. I'm not super immediately on dismissing the whole thing, because I do believe there are other interesting aspects to it, like the world building and the way it imagines the... What the hell? It's a sea shanty in techno-pop fashion.
Somebody really liked the disco parties.
Which, to be fair, was also a thing also in the Ardolis of Tools of Destruction, so it is consistent even across dimensions, I guess.
Yes.
But no, again, also the way it imagines the adaptation, the elements adaptations of the Pinocchio story. Trust me, Jova, after seeing so many shitty adaptations, like the Wrecking Bass one, for example, AI doesn't seem too bad in actually, you know, interpreting those, to be honest. Hell, even...
Wait. Rankin Bass did a Pinocchio one? How am I only finding...
In stop motion, because it's shit. It's simple as. I don't even know if we ever got a DVD, Jova, but me and Deji did find it on our own while we were kind of marathoning those, and it's really bad. It only... you know, superficially talks about some elements, then it diverges a bit into its own kind of thing, and at the very end it basically says, don't worry Pinocchio, we'll have more adventures to come, and shows and has a small show clip, you know, of a small clip show of still images of stuff that happens in the book. So it's basically saying, yeah, you know, the stuff that normally has been in the book, it's basically surfing Dracula for this adaptation.
Pinocchio's Christmas. Of course it was a Christmas movie, because it's Rankin Bass.
So not the only Christmas-related Pinocchio thing, mind you, there's also the Mondo TV official sequel, quote-unquote. Again,
of course Mondo TV decided to world expand.
Blunt, if I ever decided to actively start to have a deep cover to what I call the Pinocchio exploitation, you know, set of movies, I would have enough material for several years, including several Halloween and Christmas picks in a row.
Okay, I knew that there were Pinocchio Christmas picks, but I didn't know there were Pinocchio Halloween flicks.
Well, not necessarily Halloween, but more scary-oriented, like Emperor of the Night. Anyway, let's get the treasure. Which is, of course, the Vapomatic. Also, fun fact, my game crashed immediately after this, so I had to redo this whole section.
God damn, what made it crash?
No idea, probably still the RTX kind of thing, but whatever. It wasn't too big of a deal.
Hopefully the new Nintendo Switch 2 TV boost mode won't have issues similar to that.
Yeah, you know, the thing that I thought about the console had it on, you know, at base, at launch, you know, on its own.
Okay, basically this new TV mode for the Switch 2 basically lets you have it be TV mode even if you're doing it in handheld.
For base Switch games, yes, again, it's, you know, just a simple boost up, but I thought this was a thing that was present also originally, you know, natural upscaling and all, even in handle mode, but apparently not.
I'm wondering if the catch is that they'll also be able to do it for some Switch 2 games.
It does, it does take up a load of more power, though.
Yeah, so I can imagine it becomes, you know, a bit of a... what? And by that he means his penis.
He's a grower, not a shower, I guess.
Oh my. See, that's more like the humor I'm used to for this franchise.
Lovely. Yeah, no, like, again, I do get why the franchise did a bit of a change in perspective, but part of me does wish that they could have kept with more of the, you know, satirical side of things. Again, like, with the Future series, I do feel like that was when they tried to go more... I don't know if Pixar-esque is the right word, but it felt like they were focusing more on being, like, you know, full-on legit whimsical stories.
More trying to still be epic in scope rather than, you know, being... Okay, passing from Futurama to Guardians of the Galaxy, basically.
Pretty much, yeah. And don't get me wrong, it's a change that worked for the most part. I will still probably prefer Up Your Arsenal over Crack in Time, but don't get me wrong, Crack in Time is probably, like, my second favorite right behind Up Your Arsenal. What about
Quest for Booty, Trova?
I said it before and I'll say it again. Quest for Booty should have been a slam dunk. It was not. You wasted space and robotic pirates.
Let's see, speaking of robotic pirates, let's see what this fearsome trial consists of.
Oh boy.
Welcome to the Pirates' Trials! Now who
Oh lord, it's a flipping park attraction.
And it's one of those that records your line at the beginning to name you. Oh no.
This is a tourist trap, isn't it? They're not actually pirates, they're businessmen.
What's the difference?
Trials are a theme park? Cool.
Alright, the first...
Yeah, I know. That sounds cool, yeah.
First trial
Hey, at least
is
maybe this...
karaoke.
Look at the bright side, Clank. At least this means we may not have to risk our lives for once.
And right, there you go.
Provided the attractions are up to code.
Alright, pay attention to the lyrics because you have heard this song before, specifically in the Tools of Destruction, just with different lyrics.
Listen to our shanty carefully and shoot the pirates in order to sing it back.
How nice.
Sing shanties.
Me hearties.
I can just hear physically the voice actors dying in the recording booth.
Ratchet, please do not try to sing.
Okay, try you, Clank.
Alright, then I will.
Haha, get it? Because the original lyrics was of girls in loose panties instead. It's a Ratchet and Clank for the modern audience.
Respectable positions of power.
Clank, don't quit your day job.
Well, I kind of
I'm
think
better at it than you are.
Well, I kind of think that there's like an in-universe reason because if you notice that the pirate at the initial boot was a girl pirate. So maybe I do wonder if it was a case where the lines were recorded because she was kind of pissed off at the original lines, or at least that's my interpretation.
What kind of song is this anyway?
Now press on to the second.
I thought that one.
First trial done, let's go to the next.
So robot pirates making pirate animatronics, wouldn't that be like humans making...
Don't ask questions, there are no answers. Alright, however, this next trial is very dangerous.
The Fiend!
What's with the red light?
It's to show its danger mode.
At the very least, I'm not forced to slow to a crawl. I can move wherever they want. Alright,
I'm sorry, I think you mean Snorlax.
It's just a Grunthor. It was a Grunthor.
Yeah.
It's dead.
I think someone forgot to feed it. What kind
Temporarily? What are you planning to do? Inject him with Lazarus potion?
I think here's what happened. The Grunthor feeder was taken over by the virus from the other levels, meaning that we need to actually use glitch to open the shaft. Because there's a gold bolt inside. This is the first of the two optional stuff that you can do, so of course we're gonna do it.
Ratchet notices. I hope Ratchet-sama notices me.
Again, Glitch's entire story arc is that she learns to be have more confidence in herself. It's pretty neat. It's kind of like if the Doom Marine, started off as kind of like, not necessarily less than the unlikely, but someone with no real, self-esteem in using a gun and everything, but gradually instead became badass. I know that the easy joke to make will be, so it's like, in Doom 3, but no, the Marine in that, in that version, did started off still, competent and everything, and just, rose to the occasion more than anything. It just really was in a more slow context that was more horror-induced rather than to be frantically action-packed like the other games. So, I'm trying to think, okay, not necessarily survival horror, but I'm trying to think of a typical shooter that actually has that kind of thing, where, you know, the protagonist does start without believing too much in themselves, but, you know, by the end they become a killing machine.
I'm pretty sure there are a few. They're just hard to think up off the bat.
I can imagine by laws of probability there has to be, you know, at least a few, not even just one, at least a few, but right on the tip of my tongue I cannot think of any right now. Because I'm trying to think also of the, you know, boomer shooter revival for stuff like Nightmare Reaper, for example, Turbo Overkill, but those do start with someone who is relatively competent in relative terms, because Nightmare Reaper is a bit complicated, I'll just say that. I cannot even say the Resistance games, you know, to go back to Insomniac, because, you know, the protagonists in those games were just on a medium level by default, and they were, you know, competent on their own. And even then, the second game did try to inject the whole, they were part of a super serum program, you know, and stuff like that. Oh.
We didn't want to interrupt, but don't.
Oh my!
It seems that the virus do have a controller unit. So
it's implying that the master virus itself is that sultry, sexy voice.
Yeah, and the next glitch mission, which will be the last, we'll see us confronting properly her, obviously. I guess one of the reasons why it will be hard to pull off what I just said, you know, the problem is starting meek and not super strong, but becoming super confident, you know, in killing machine by the end, is because you run potentially into the risk of making them too unlikable at the beginning, and you do need a first impression, you know, for your audience. So you need to have, you know, a strong plot potentially to justify that. Narrator, I'm sorry to say, but it was kind of, you know. Yeah, let's just move on.
I'm wondering if this is all basically just pre-recorded?
Possibly. Oh no, I think it's more of a case where the pirate at the beginning just, you know, keeps a lookout for you. Anyway, third trial is, well, more of a combat section, but you'll see how it's handled. You know, it's a good thing Ratchet is not does not get sick from the G's, because all these rotating around will not be helpful, I think.
So, do those pirates just wait in the water for forever for a customer to come by?
I guess they're also rust-proof. Poor Victor,
so.
At the end of the day, poor Victor was just, you know, the old model that couldn't.
I do find it funny how he talked all that scrap, but yeah, when you get down to it, compared to almost every other robot in this franchise, he was out of date.
Mostly because, again, it was an older model and everything. Well, again, it continues to be part of the wasted potential that the movie has, because it's a neat concept, the idea that, you know, there was a previous generations of robot which was, you know, still, you know, conceptualized decently, but also, you know, had the problem of becoming rusty, you know, and all. Not even the museum, the Voltaire Museum in Ratchet and Clank really, you know, explore this kind of concept. So I do kind of like the idea, but they don't do a lot, unfortunately. Still more than what, you know, they did with the henchmen in the original Ratchet and Clank in 2002, I will say that.
Ladies and gentlemen, the saviors of the universe. What?
Yeah, that's the part of the joke, Dibs. Again, it's one of those, you know, attractions that record your voice line in the beginning, and, you know, because they ask your name. But because Ratchet was too dumbfounded, he just said what, and we ran with that.
Wait, can they let us record it again?
Sorry, Dibs, budget and all.
budget. They're your pirates.
Which does leave me wondering, like, if they accidentally kill a customer, do they just loot the body and take the money and then
I'm
let the
pretty sure
next
that's
one
the
come
idea.
in?
They here be pirates after all. Oh no, not the Puffoys. Sure.
Okay,
What-
okay, now you guys are just coming up with this stuff on the fly, aren't you?
How did you got these from Pokitaru?
Oh, come on, just say this is the day you almost caught Captain what?
Yep, ladies and gentlemen, is this the new name of the game now? What and why?
What?
Ripped apart?
Why ripped apart?
What is Ratchet? Why is Ratchet?
Alright, let's see. At the very least, we get, an armor part for, like, a costume part. I forgot if it's, like, the actual pirate set.
Missed opportunity to not give
Yes, the
Ratchet and
robot
Rivet
pirate
pirate
set,
outfits
Yes,
out.
we get it, but again, you see. Yeah, you sound so thrilled. Well, at the very least, we can actually go to talk to Captain Quantum now, hopefully.
Finally! Looks like Pierre was telling the truth after all.
Let us see.
Also, get it? Just like with Quark, we had to go through a set of challenges for this captain.
Perhaps that means congratulations in Kraken.
That doesn't make it any better!
Yes, I'm sure that Kraken wants to congratulate us just fine.
Clearly.
So, Captain What? What brings ye here?
You're, in danger. The Emperor
And
had
so
to-
obviously not a robot.
Already knew?
Har har! We bugged him. Greatest job we ever.
Yeah, Captain Quantum seems to have a device that allows him to track down Emperor Nefarious somehow. Don't ask me how he got that already, because that seems to have happened something off-screen. More of that later.
Ye dare!
Yeah. So yeah, unsurprisingly, this is Quark's counterpart, and the reason why he's different as different VA is because, well, look at him.
It's Quantum!
Although the color of the suit, which is an astoundingly good orange, if you ask me, is actually a alternate outfit that Insomniac did sketched for the 2002 original game. So we just repurposed the concept and said, what if he also was, played by a black guy? In this case, Zeke Alton. If you don't know him, he has voice acted, if I recall correctly, for a bunch of video games, but around this time, he was also camping and voicing one big supporting character in the Callisto Protocol, which was released around the same time. Gotta say, better choice of this game being.
Yeah. Wasn't the Callisto Protocol kind of bad?
Oh, don't worry, Job. I'm planning on recording that again, not immediately, but I will eventually deal with the Dead Space game, and the Callisto Protocol will act as a, final game after the original trilogy.
Beautiful.
So you'll be able to see just how things happen, how wrong things happen. I'm just gonna say this. They actually went with the route of making the true ending DLC and pissing off the most majority of people as possible with it.
Remind me, what year did that game come out?
Recently.
2022.
Yeah, 2020. Again, around the same time as this, if not maybe a bit
So-
later.
Please tell me that True Ending DLC wasn't paid at least.
Yes, it was. Same publisher of Java, Krafton, publishers of PUBG.
You would think even still they would know better than to do that. Like,
they don't.
No, they really don't. God damn it. Oh, Lord. All the same, though, like, again, Callisto Protocol is, like, it's one of those infamous games where you hear a ton about how bad it is, but you feel like you need to see an in-depth review to
I will say
truly
this,
get the juice.
at its core, it functions. It's not like it has massive glitches. You can technically play it, but it's bogged down by a lot of bad things about the modern gaming industry, like how fucking slow it is. It really, you know, drags the whole experience down, and different other things like lack of anime variety, you know, lack of tools the player can use. It seems that it's a game that during its making was more interested in its story rather than its gameplay, but because the story had to be rewritten at the very last second, unfortunately also that gets gambized. But again, not the time yet. The point
So
is
it's
that,
not completely catastrophic like Mind's Eye, basically.
No, definitely not. Now,
I washed their hands of that recently.
here's the thing. Again, all these entire section is you repelling the pirates, so you don't really need to know that much. But here's the thing. Now the game introduces this kind of thing where Quantum has been a thorn in the side of the Emperor for a while, and he has this device that allows him to track him. Cool, and the fact that he's a core counterpart that, you know, just wanted to lead the poor robot pirates, but otherwise he's definitely not as dickish as you know, Ratchet's own Quark, and has the potential to do cool superheroic stuff, you know, more heroic on base, you know. But that's it. That's all that we got to get to know about Quantum in this game. Like,
wow.
We don't know his backstory, much of the backstory, which again, for a character like Pierre or, you know, the Phantom, I could have lived with it, but because Quark was kind of so pivotal for Ratchet's universe, not knowing that much about Quantum just feels sacrilegious in comparison. We don't know why, you know, if there was a particular beef that he had with the Emperor, how did he got to be in the same list as the others if he had not much contact with the other Resistance members, you know. It really screams to me that there should have been more told, but we don't. The character is not like he's absent from now on, he will show up for the next couple of levels, but in terms of, you know, learning about what his deal is in the whole thing, outside of he doesn't like the Emperor and wants to give a hand and wants to be more heroic, that's it.
It is such a
really is disappointing, yes.
Like, I mean, keep in mind, this is the counterpart to Captain Quark, and yet we arguably know more about Rusty Pete's counterpart than Quark's. For perspective's sake, Quark has been around since the first game. Rusty Pete showed up in Tools of Destruction. He was notable in Quest for Booty, but then kind of really petered off for games after that.
We only got to go, you know, for one, but he had opened up like a kebab shop or whatever it was.
Yeah, but yeah, no, we get more about his counterpart here than Quark's. Like, okay, if I were to really put a theory down on the table, I wonder if maybe they had more planned for Quark, but, you know, sadly with Jim Ward not being able to return to voice the character at the time, they maybe dialed back Quark's role, so they figured, well, in that case, we gotta dial back Quantum.
Now, to be fair, I don't mind it too much, also the idea that you beat Quantum basically last, and you still don't have potentially as much on paper, because it's more of a case of giving, you know, space for characters that had not, you know, their potential realized completely. But again, what I mean is that it still feels like some basic stuff should have been included that it did not. Alright,
also,
second blast off, let's see if this time it works. Actually no, because we still have one more round.
Missed opportunity to not just have an alternate universe version of Captain Slag, you know, Rusty Pete's actual boss and whatnot. I get it that they're playing fast and loose with who is a counterpart or not, but it feels weird that someone who was, you know, very pivotal in the actual mythos doesn't have a counterpart. Especially if you weren't going to do much with Captain Quantum.
Like I said,
which I guess...
the character will still appear in the next levels and by the end of the game, but it will feel like, you know, he's just there more than anything, unfortunately.
So is he basically just a reflection of Quark, or aside from, you know, the obvious stuff, are there any notable differences between him and Quark?
Like I said, less prone to be dickish and actually instead with the potential to actually wanting to be heroic by default. It's just that he decided to lead the pirates just because he wanted to, but without even wanting to scan them or something. He just liked the life of a robot pirate, that's it.
From what I can infer, maybe he did it because they had the resources to help him spy on the Emperor better. Otherwise, I guess his difference is that while he can be up to shenanigans... Oh.
There you go.
Get it? Just like in Pirates of the Caribbean, the bell summons the Kraken.
You need to stop planting your face like that, Ratchet.
It's not very healthy.
There you go. The bucket helps you track down Emperor Nefarious.
Is he a pirate in your dimension too?
No, he's a hero. Even though he's betrayed us, surrendered to save his own skin, taking credit for our...
He's a hero?
I don't...
Because no matter how many times he screws up, he's always there when it matters most.
That is a very, very, very reductionist take on the whole of Quark, but you're technically right.
I feel like at this point Ratchet is just, you know, inhaling all of the copium in his galaxy to say something like that.
I know, right? Like, yes, Quark's
also,
technically
get this,
now to that.
of course, with the joke of we're spying on the person and he's right there. God damn it.
Idiot.
What are you doing?
Hero stuff!
So yeah,
He
Quantum
sacrificed himself.
He's not
noble
gonna die
hero.
because instead Emperor Nefarious is sending the whole barge to Zordun prison. So... Alright. There you go.
And so we row back in a bucket, and all that's left is the hat.
Quantum actually saved us. Wow.
We must let Rivet and Kit know.
I mean, Quark's technically saved us too, so I don't get the full-on surprise.
Alright, before moving on, let's collect the spoils of what we need from this planet. First off, if I recall correctly, the missing gold bolt, which is obtained via this Beetle challenge. Right, I guess I can ask, do we know if the whole Kraken gets killed off-screen in between movies for the Pirates of the Caribbean was an executive mandate or a rewrite, and originally there was supposed to be something different?
I don't know that bit.
Well, at the very least, props to Kingdom Hearts 3 for actually doing something different on that.
Maybe the answer to that is in that Q&A book that came with the DVD.
I guess. Anyway, Infobot on the... oh yeah, more renderings.
Ardolis, the not-so-secret home base of the pirates, is a bastion for robots who wish to live a life of adventure, freedom, and morally ambiguous deeds. But that sort of life can be an expensive one, so the pirates have also waded into the treacherous waters of Brandon and Target markets by creating their very own theme park. Have you ever wanted to be a pirate for a day? You can, if you can survive the pirate trials. Its success has been Mixed.
Yeah, no shit.
Still flourished in recent years thanks to their mysterious captain, who has somehow managed to stay one
Yeah, that's
step
basically
ahead
what we
of
get
Emperor
of
Nefarious
Quantum.
and
He
his
just showed up one day to cover the Pirates of Ardolis, who has remained neutral in the conflict up until this point, and that's kinda it. Like, okay, wish I would know more about it.
I haven't been able to find anything that suggests it was an executive reason. Like, to give them some credit, they do try to give a story reason for why the Kraken was killed. Basically, Beckett basically wants proper order in the sea, and obviously with something like the Kraken, that is not to be guaranteed, because the Kraken do be wild, yo, so...
Oh no, I get about the reasoning, they even explain that in the movie, but I just do wonder, you know, if there was something more or not.
What I'm getting at is that, as disappointing as it is, it seems I haven't heard any like disgruntled rumblings about that move. Like, there doesn't seem to be any staff people who are like severely disappointed about it. So I'm guessing maybe it was just legit a conclusion come to. Although I guess maybe it was the fan outcries that got them to realize, oh, that may not have been the best idea, and that's why they actually let us fight the damn thing in both Disney Infinity and in Kingdom Hearts 3.
Kingdom Hearts 3 is also particularly, you know, peculiar because it's actually one of the few times you actually fight the Disney villain in that in its respective world. Anyway, tune in for the next part where Ratchet and Rivet reunites again at Xerxes and compare notes. See ya.
See you then.
See ya.